Hi everybody, and welcome to Once Upon a Scarf. This channel celebrates the art of the vintage scarf, from luxury silks to bandanas. Every episode we zoom in close to the wonderful stories they tell. Today I am overjoyed to bring you one of my favorite vintage silks. I think it's one of the greatest souvenir scarves of all time, showing Paris, but not as we usually see it. No Eiffel Tower, no Sacré-Cœur. Instead, this one shows the great haute couture houses of mid-century, precisely placed on a map so your grandma or her chauffeur could find every one. It's literally a map of the high fashion stars. I was recently in Paris and thought it would be fun to tour these very same streets to see exactly which houses still remained. I'm the author of 2 classic books on vintage fashion, Secondhand Chic and It's Vintage Darling. I'm a huge fan of the luxury, affordability, and in this case, amazing fashion history in great vintage scarves. I'm so happy to share what I know with you. À quoi rêvent toutes les femmes du monde entier? What every woman around the world dreams of. So let's be real for a second. That's definitely an elitist worldview. But if you're still here, you probably at least appreciate that old school style. And rightly so. On y va. The fashionable neighborhood runs along the Rue Saint-Honoré, with the Place Vendôme behind and the Rue de Rivoli up front. Drawing up the Rue de la Paix into the Place Vendôme, we first see the mighty column, a replica of the Column of Trajan in Rome. Napoleon put this one up to honor Napoleon. It dominates the place and sets the tone for aspiration and sky-high spending. The first shop stop on our scarf is Schiaparelli in the northwest corner of the place. Lo and behold, still going strong. Not quite as surreal, perhaps, as when Madame ruled the roost, but no matter, a grand old name. Across the way is Van Cleef & Arpels with its diamonds and pearls, and once again the scarf steers us straight into their clutches. Just down from Van Cleef is another extraordinary jeweler, Boucheron, with more glinty shiny for our consideration. Exiting the place via the Rue de Castiglione, we look quickly for the Reine Angleterre first shop, but this one no longer exists. But Guerlain, the legendary perfumer, still does precisely where we would expect, just across the street. So how about Vera Borea? A name I didn't recognize. Apparently, this was one of the first houses to offer luxury sportswear for women. And here we have another great name lost to the past, the hairdresser Antoni Cierplikowski. He became the first celebrity hairdresser, with clients like Coco Chanel, Greta Garbo, and Brigitte Bardot. His creations were rumored to cost up to $1,200 in today's money. Anton, we salute you for your path-breaking hair artistry and skills at scalping your rich clientele. Now, since we're on the Rue Cambon, we also need mention a name that doesn't appear on the silk, but is of course legendary. Chanel at number 31. Why isn't she here? Well, she actually retired between 1939 and 1954, which does help us pin down when this scarf may have been produced. In real life, the house is back in business with a vengeance. Look at this facade. Fantastic. Moving down Faubourg Saint-Honoré, we pass another lost legend, Henri à la Pensée. But we have much better luck with Lanvin, still proudly in place at number 22. Our last stop on the scarf is fittingly Hermes. Sadly, on the day of our visit, the shop was being refitted for Christmas, so no peeking in, and mercifully no buying. But in compensation, just across the street, is legendary shoemaker Roger Vivier, who started out designing for Christian Dior and is now nearly as eminent a name as his old patron. Now that our tour is complete, let's just take a moment to appreciate the details on this elegant old silk. To the upper right are a bag, scarf, and striking hat. We also see dressmaker bits and pieces, shears, ribbon, and a pincushion, reminding us that haute couture was all about sewing by hand. In the lower right, we find a display of a mirror, a bouquet in a Sèvres vase, and extraordinary jewels, undoubtedly booty from all that hard shopping on the Place Vendôme. In the lower left, we see a couturier at work, dressed to the nines in a tailcoat and pinstripes. His client in raptures as the gown is fitted just so, her girlfriend cheering it on from the sidelines. The dressmaker may be anonymous, but if it's a portrayal with a slicked back, black hair, and fabulous posture, I put my money on one Cristobal Balenciaga, who was then the high priest of women's haute couture. In the upper left, we have an assortment of fashion items, including a perfume bottle labeled Courgeois. This happens to be a real perfume that was issued by Nina Ricci in 1946, which may give another hint about the actual date of this scarf. Ricci's name doesn't appear, but is it possible that this house issued the square? Or was it a collaboration organized by then couture supremo Lucien Lelong to boost the reputation of all of Paris's great houses? That one's a mystery. To add to the general air of romance, we also have a stanza of a poem by Alphonse Lamartine. A very rough translation goes something like this: "If the breeze intoxicates me with the scent of flowers, the most beautiful among them is your breath." Trust me, it reads better in French. The main point being all of the things that intoxicated the imagination in 1946, or whenever this scarf was produced. Beautiful clothes, accessories, jewels, wandering from shop to see the splendors, still intoxicate many of us today. And the very best thing is, you don't have to actually buy anything to enjoy it. And that's today's scarf story. I hope you had fun on this mini tour of Paris, past and present. Please press the usual buttons if you'd like to see more.